Welcome to Film Vets. I'm your host, Paul Dixon, and with me is my co-host,
Dan Young.
Dan, why are we here today?
I think we watched a movie that recently come out. I think it was Halloween Ends. Yeah.
Oh, we watched that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
Oh, for real?
For real.
It's been 4 years since Michael Myers vanished without a trace. Maybe the only way he can die is if I die too.
Halloween Ends. This is Laurie Strode's last stand. After 45 years, the most acclaimed, revered horror franchise in the film history reaches its epic, terrifying conclusion as Laurie Strode faces off for the last time against the embodiment of evil, Michael Myers. In a final confrontation unlike any captured on screen before, only one of them will survive.
Okay, so Halloween Ends. Dan, where do we start with this movie?
Just like any good story, at the beginning. Again, I've been saying this whole time. It's been the month of October is where I'm just going to be on constantly repeat, like this broken record. I have a weird relationship with horror movies. I tend to find them funny. They're a little over the top. I went into this movie cold. I hadn't watched the other two movies in this trilogy of the franchise. I wanted to see if I could just jump in without having any understanding of what was going on in the story. I'm missing 2/3 of this whole journey, and I thought this movie did well. It gave me the backstory and the lead in. I thought it was fine. It picked up and it let me just kind of roll on. I was able to start the movie after about, I want to say about 45 seconds to a minute. I was completely caught up. I felt confident enough to know exactly what was going on, where everything was, like, oh, okay, Michael Myers killed her daughter. Oh, that must be her granddaughter. Like I was able to piece a lot of things together.
That's interesting because I had the opposite effect. So I made a list. I'm going to share some of them with you. And now I want to start with the positives, because not everything about this film was bad. Now, I'm probably going to get into spoiler territory.
If anybody is going to watch this review, you haven't seen the movie, this is your opportunity to go ahead and jump ship. We only talked about the first few, the first minute. Other than that, this is on you.
If you're interested in what we thought about the film without getting into spoilers, I did not care for it. Dan, what did you think of the film?
I thought it was all right.
Okay.
It wasn't great. It was all right. I would give it a thumb up and a thumb down, just like a meh.
Okay, that's a spoiler-free review for you. Now we're going into spoilers. So first thing I liked, the gender reverse of the babysitter, I thought was interesting. To bring in a male character that's usually the female. I kind of love the opening death scene because it was funny and unexpected. I laughed really hard, and I was like, okay, that's a good lead-in for something that's different. And I'm okay with different. It doesn't have to be the same Michael Myers story every single time. I loved Halloween 3 to a certain degree. It's not a perfect film, but I love what they were trying to do, where it wasn't centralized around Michael Myers. It was more about the town and these things happening. So I get where they were going with that. So I like that. And the last thing I liked a lot, I really loved, was the opening shots with the pumpkin. It was a great callback to the original Halloween, and also the fact there was the kid with the pumpkin head that killed him. And I thought that was very reminiscent of that in a way. So I really like the opening credits.
And see, that's awesome. All of those I agree with.
It's all going downhill after this.
I'm about to pivot this thing pretty hard. If anybody is interested to watch Paul break a little, he has no idea. I put together a little side project, and I'm hoping this works out really well.
Oh boy.
There is the first death scene in the movie is this jerk kid that the male babysitter is watching, that this kid locks him in a room upstairs and he starts kicking at the door. Well, this idiot 8-year-old is standing on the other side of the door taunting him and is freaking out. Surprise, surprise. Some, 18, 19, 20-year-old man kicks open the door, the kid in the face. Now,
I laughed so hard.
Where we're going from here, I don't think it's funny when certain demographics die.
Well,
but the way it was the way it was over
done.
The railing and hit the ground. It's not something I want to show on here, but I have in spirit something that I think is a really good reenactment. It's a decent
Oh
reenactment.
boy.
Can we go ahead and get that on screen?
Really? All of that
Maybe,
for
maybe
that.
what? 5 seconds of a printer hitting the ground.
Okay, yeah, that was funny. I'll give you that. But I was gonna play something for you too.
Let's see it. That whatever creature that was, an alien or like a minor demon or something, that was me watching that movie. Just
Dude, okay, so there's a funny bit about that. It's the movie's called Mac and Me, and every time Paul Rudd goes on Conan, or when Conan was on, he played that clip. He made them play the clip every single time, and he's like, "Oh, so this is the new Paul Rudd movie," and he's like, "Yeah, so I'm in Ant-Man 3, or Ant-Man 2, and this is a clip from the film." And they play that scene, and Conan he falls for it every single time, and he's just like, it's so great. It's so great. Anyway, let's get on to Halloween Ends.
yes, I hear you have a long laundry list of things that you don't like about this movie.
I want to preface this with the fact that I love when they try to do new things and new ideas with the Halloween film, because you can't stay stagnant forever. That said, what they chose to do with this movie did not work for me at all. I'm going to just go down the list here. Okay, so I hate the way we catch up with Laurie, the whole writing a novel cliche, voiceover. But problem I have with that is that Laurie lost her daughter, and we never saw any of the repercussions of that. We went straight from her daughter literally died in the last scene, and she didn't even discover that probably till later, to this movie opening with her over it. It's been 4 years. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm no big deal. I moved on. Michael's not a problem anymore," even though he's supposedly still out there. So that bothered me. Then we get to the bullies, and I wrote, "These bullies look like the kids that the bullies would bully." And they were the after school special bullies that they got that were picking on kids. And let's be honest, Corey, the guy that plays Corey, looked like he was so much bigger than them. He looked like 10 years old. Like he could beat all of them up. I was like, I don't believe any of you could bully this guy. I don't believe it at all. Like it was just ridiculous.
there was one part where like he pushed him and he like fell to the ground. I'm just like, no, that kid would go to push him, the kid would fall to the ground, and then then Corey would take the bottle and smash it on his head, and then just beat the shit out of him.
Well, I want to keep going here because I want to keep going here because it gets better.
Let's keep moving.
I put the cliche bullies. Feels like the wrong story to tell for Laurie's final film, because we've had all this again momentum. Laurie feels off. She doesn't feel like the same character at all to me. And I know you didn't watch the other two films, but
it sounds like that might be the whole reason why I was just fine with it. All the grievances come from the fact that there's a mismatch.
But there's a tone all over the place with this movie. She's making all these jokes in the kitchen and stuff, and it's just not... I'll get to that. It reminds me a bit of... Here it is. It reminds me a bit of Troll 2, where characters are talking like they're American, but it's not how Americans talk or act. Like they... Like the whole thing with Troll 2 is that it was I believe an Italian director, and he has the actors say these certain things, and it's just really off. And that's how it felt in this movie. I don't know. The characters didn't feel like they were real. It felt like everybody in the movie that wasn't the main characters needed to be jerks in order to propel the story forward. You know, it's just like,
yes.
How do we get forward? Well, everybody's mean to the kid. You know? Yeah, so I don't care about Corey in this film. He annoyed me.
I actually do have some grievances about Corey as a character, as a person.
I'm just getting started.
I'm sure you are. By chance, does your list have anything about Michael Myers taking on a pet?
It has something like that. Hold on. I thought it was funny when he killed the homeless guy because it was so random. Made no sense. And he's just like, "You're Michael Myers, and why didn't he kill you?" And he's got a knife, and it's like characters that don't make any sense. And I know the homeless guy probably lost his marbles or whatever, but we got no lead into that. It was just kind of like out of nowhere. I don't know. It was weird. I wrote here, this is where I start losing my mind. He's morphing into Michael Myers. Is this how it works? Michael infects people. And I wrote, quote, "No, ... please don't do this, ...
And here I wrote, "No, please, dear God, no. No." No.
And the next one, there's a scene where Laurie sees him staring up at her like Michael Myers did. She goes downstairs and she's looking for him. He literally pops up from behind her magically.
I hated that. Like,
I laughed so hard.
His shoulders are broader than her body.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's just like, "Hello. What? What? No!"
It made no sense. It was weird.
Yeah, where it was so ridiculous and over the top that it's like, oh God. I did laugh a lot during this movie.
Yeah, but I laughed for the wrong reasons.
I laughed for the right reasons.
I have a lot of notes, but I'm going to skip some of the stuff because it's just nitpicking. But the characters are so over the top. You know, like the cop, the sheriff, or the deputy or whatever that pulls.
No, the one that doesn't eat vegetables?
Yeah, weird. So weird.
I thought that was the weirdest dialogue. "Oh, you should get some vegetables. I hear they're good for you." It's like nobody talks
weird.
like that.
Who wrote this?
Nobody
exactly.
talks like that.
Nobody talks like it's what it felt like. And the bullies, again, are just so one-dimensional, badly written, not cast well. It's just all over the place. And then I put in my notes, I hate everyone in this movie.
Not just this movie. I hate everyone. I hate everyone. Please make it stop.
So I put when he goes to the tunnels and when he's killing the nurse, I put, so Michael Myers is basically an unmotivated senpai.
You know what? Can I make a request?
Yes.
Can you do you have like a writing desk or something? I would love for you to just like do like a 19th century, like you're sitting there and you're writing a note out, but you can hear the thoughts, and just like, "Halloween ends, like my dearest cinephiles." Here are the things I hate about Halloween.
I don't mean to keep going forever. I'm going to bring up a couple other things.
Oh, no, go for it, please. I'm having a ball.
I thought they were going to make him a new type of villain, which, again, great idea. But they went with that stupid scarecrow mask, and it looks so bad. But then he eventually takes Michael's mask, which is stupid of its own reasoning. But
you know why? The Scarecrow, right?
Why?
They couldn't go with the Tin Man because he didn't have a heart. They went with the Scarecrow because he doesn't have a brain.
Wow, that makes total sense, actually. It's a smarter script than we're giving it credit for.
Oh, it's only smart because I'm pointing it out. I'm forcing this.
Yeah, that scene with the DJ is a perfect example of what I'm talking about, where the characters need to be, like the side characters need to be jerks to the main characters. Like he comes outside and he's just like, "Oh, you're that kid. He's a dick for no reason. No reason."
Something that stands out profoundly to me. All of these people are being assholes to somebody who killed another human being. It's like, not the best choice. Like, they are the most one-dimensional, dumbest characters for poking the bear, basically. Come on. What else you got?
It wasn't like he was a serial killer like Michael. He didn't intentionally go after anyone. It was an accident. Like, if he had intentionally killed that kid, I would understand it more, why they would be...
Yeah, there would be a lot more animosity, but there would be more
and anger
torches and
him.
Pitchforks, and
yeah,
like they would be coming after him where he would need to hide.
I think at one point in the movie they called him a pedo. And I'm like, what? The bullies called him
yeah,
that? It was like, why? He didn't touch the kid.
That one was...
I just it didn't make any sense. It was whatever. I have the funniest thing to mention, though. There was a scene in this movie, and I wholeheartedly don't think they meant for people to laugh at this, but it was so funny. I laughed so hard when the parents, when Corey returns home, she slaps him. Then she kisses him on the lips and leaves. And he looks over, and the dad or the boyfriend or whatever is sitting in the corner, and he's like, "I hope you find love."
I laughed at that too. I'm like, this is horrible. Why?
And I put in my notes, this feels like a scene out of Not Another Teen Movie. Ah, I don't know what the hell. I don't know, man. All right, I'm gonna read these off.
It's a
so you can
banana
just-
split.
Yeah, I'm gonna read these off as quickly as possible. Okay, the bullies look like
Okay.
kids that would actually get bullied. Yeah, the girl getting hit by a truck and trapped under a fence. It's a laughing face. These deaths are terribly shot, either off camera quick cuts for the bullies, or they're just unintentionally hilarious. Corey as Michael is a terrible idea, and he just took that mask that easily. Really? He's walking around like Michael again for no reason. Like he's not his own person anymore. He's like possessed by Michael or trying to be like. I didn't get it. The DJ getting killed is when they finally do show someone dying, and it's too unrealistic. It's like they either go one way or the other extreme with all the deaths. It's weird. I don't know what else to say. It was a terrible way to end the franchise. That's my last note. I feel like I was way too harsh on this movie last night, but I honestly just did not care for the choices that were made. It just made me angry.
In defense to your criticisms of the movie, you have seen the other two movies. If there are continuity errors or even flaws or mismatches in personalities, then they stand out more. They're more difficult to just move past. Immediately, it sticks out like a sore thumb, and that's one of the things that I had a problem with, like Star Wars. That the middle movie, you have The Force Awakens and then, The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is completely tone deaf from how the characters were developing to begin with. And that's just an example. This one, I'm sure, was a lot worse, and why I looked at it and went, I mean, it was okay, it was meh. Like, I wouldn't watch it again. But I have some responses to some of the things that you had.
No, please, yeah. Something else I want to say: if any of you viewers out there enjoyed this movie, great. No, really, it's awesome that you did. I wish I had enjoyed the movie as much as you had. It just wasn't for me.
This is a rare form where normally I'm the one that's super critical of movies, like to the point where it's like you're sitting there going, I liked it. And I'm like, I hated it. Let me tell you why. I think it's refreshing that you hated this movie. So it's great. I agree with all of your points. This is the point where I'm going to take this off the rails. Paul had a very fair and direct list of grievances about the movie. I'm about to take those grievances and put them on steroids. The fact that Corey was trying to be like Michael Myers. Haven't you seen Like Mike 2? It's just basically going to be a series of bad jokes. Michael Myers was down in the sewer, like behind a brick wall, like somebody flushed him down like a 60 or 70-year-old turd. And he drugged Corey, who had been pushed off a bridge, should be paralyzed, and he drug him into the sewers. Didn't just kill him. Why? Come on. So he drags him into the sewers and then waits for him to wake up and then starts to choke him, and he's staring into his eyes. And I have to admit, when I was younger, I did not want a pet. I didn't want a pet. I walked into a pet store and there was this little dog in the big dog pen. He was there for a year, and I looked into his eyes and I knew exactly how Michael Myers felt. He didn't get an accomplice. He got a pet. That's it. He doesn't care about people. He got a pet. It's no different than a pet iguana or a dog that just wants it. He just wants to make him proud. This kid could have been sitting there licking his crotch and Michael Myers wouldn't have cared. It would have been an indicator of brain damage, but I digress. He was thrown off a bridge in his defense.
He gets in that position of the sheriff in the tunnel, and he holds him for Michael, and he's like, show me how to do it. Show you how to what? Stab a guy? What are you talking about?
How do you do this? How do you do this? Show me. Show me this. What about this?
Okay.
and then when he's done, he's like horrified, like, oh yeah. It's like really?
I don't know what's happening.
How did you picture this going? You dumb.
He's an idiot.
Dumb human.
I thought it was hilarious when at the very end, like, I'm just gonna kill myself. So we had all this build up for this person replacing Michael, and he's just like, if I can't have her, no one can. And it's like,
Yeah, like
What
I
what is
thought
the
he
point
was
of any
gonna
of
kill
this?
her. That was the existential threat. And then he's like, and I'm just like, really? Wow, ugh, what a bitch way to go. Come on. Like I did near the end, I was laughing too hard though, because he's just like, "Eh, and I'm just like, I don't have to see you anymore.
Yeah, but he's not dead. He's still alive.
That leads me to my final point. If they're gonna throw Michael Myers in to the metal grinder, just throw Corey in. You're already there. Just get it over with, because clearly he's gonna keep trying to come back. It's gonna be Halloween. That's what we're gonna get next.
Yeah, well, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Yeah. So
all we're gonna hear is Corey. Is that you,
Corey, you sound like though you were more forgiving of this movie than I was.
I was, but that's because I was having a riot of a time. I couldn't stop laughing. I laughed at the DJ. He got his tongue cut off and it's going around the record. I just laughed. Like, that's stupid. Why?
If every death had been that crazy and over the top, I would have been forgiven of that. But it came out of nowhere. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's no tone consistency through the movie. It was just like, okay, we're gonna show these bullies die off screen. Like he gets stabbed. The mullet kid gets stabbed.
Yep.
We don't see that. He's dead. Then the one kid with the blowtorch, the main bully.
Yeah, and
we
it
don't
was
really
blurry.
see
It was
him.
like focused on the girl under the truck.
Yeah,
The heavy set girl under the truck.
I didn't think they could have shot those so much better. I don't get it, but
I remember when she got run. She was climbing over the fence, and she got on the other side of the fence, and he hit her with the truck and just went over. I looked over at the cat because the cat was sitting on the couch next to me, looking at the TV, like, "What the hell?" And I looked at him. I'm like, "Hey, buddy, you could say she's under tow." And then he just went to sleep. He was just done. So I just had so much fun.
I don't think the intentions there. The interesting thing is, I think his name was David Green, the director. His background is comedy. That's his thing. I don't
Mission
think
accomplished.
I don't think he was probably the right person for this movie, unfortunately. And you know, I don't think anybody intended to make a bad movie. I really believe the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Oh, I maintain that I don't think that this was a bad movie either. Not by any stretch of the imagination. I think that you need to come into it with no expectations, completely ignore anything you may have seen before, and be a little buzzed. And you'll have a great time. Just be ready to laugh when you see the kid hit the floor and it looks like a printer. It just he just went.
It's one of those movies you can get together with friends and laugh at, as opposed to a good horror movie. If I sat down to watch Halloween, the original, it's just brilliant.
Well, yeah, it's straight up horror.
Even the reboot that they did, I think by the same director, or at least the same creative team, was done really well. But this was more like getting people together to watch The Room. Oh, hi, Mike.
Oh, hi, Mike.
It was just so funny when Corey is this he's this shy little nerd or whatever, and then he gets a motorcycle and he's like a badass. He's like a serial killer. He's like, I'm gonna light the fire, and it's like, I don't buy any of this, man. I don't.
Well, I mean, I could buy it a little bit because I think that that's how people really portray themselves. They get a little bit.
Oh, he's like a tryhard.
Exactly. Just a little bit, and all of a sudden he's just like, yeah! He pulls a knife out on 4 kids who whooped his ass last time with a bottle of yoo-hoo. I mean... you got your... come on.
No.
Why are you gonna pull a knife out on these kids? And then the kid just slapped it out of his hands. I'm just laughing so hard.
It was
I had so much fun with this movie.
I'm glad you did. I did not.
You would have if you would have watched it with me.
Yeah, exactly. I would have had more fun watching it with someone, especially you, which is why I think in the future we're going to do actual like watch parties and record our reactions because it would be brilliant. But I just don't think this movie was made for me. I'm glad I didn't go to the theater to see it. I would have been really pissed.
Oh yeah, no, I caught it on Peacock. I love a good bad movie, but whenever a movie is supposed to be taken serious, it's got a very serious tone to it. It's trying to do or accomplish or give a message and it fails. I think that's what it makes me mad. This had no message. This was I got picked on. Yo, I'm gonna kill everyone.
Oh,
You know?
that's great.
And then he's
Oh.
gonna do it so poorly. I thought for sure he was gonna slap that scarecrow mask on and be like, like no, he didn't even do that. He just wanted to be Michael Myers. It's like you uncreative, just crotch nugget.
Can we put that on the DVD cover?
Quick, what would you give it? A 1 out of 5, like on a scale of 0 to 5 knives. What would you give it?
I would give it a tip of a dagger.
Just the tip?
I would just give the tip of 1.
I'd just go ahead and put it back in the drawer.
It might be my it might be my least favorite Halloween film.
It wasn't Michael Myers. It was just some geriatric dude that forgot what he was doing and some punk kid trying to take his inheritance.
He was an unmotivated senpai. He was an unmotivated teacher. He's like, yeah, I'll show you how to kill him. Whatever. Yeah. He's missing his fingers.
He always had to go back to the sewer for his
stab him
nap.
like this. Whatever.
Show me how it's done.
Show me how it's done. Okay. Yeah. I just didn't.
Okay.
I'd go forever.
So that's our review of Halloween Ends.
It ends now.
This is the end again.
Again.
Finally.
Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, share, and subscribe. What did you think of Halloween Ends? Did you enjoy it a little more than I did? Which is not saying a lot. Did you enjoy it as much as Dan did, or did you hate it with a fiery rage of hell like I did? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to check out our other segment called Vet Spotlight, where we talk about celebrities in the entertainment industry who are also veterans, and we talk about their filmography, their life, and what they've contributed to society in general. Thank you, veterans, for watching, and thank you, Dan, for joining me today for this unholy review.
Happy Halloween.
Yes. Ooh, Halloween.
This is the end.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.